Okay, so these are my recent observations. Not only they are like on the general level, not only about terminology, but I'm happy that I'm continuing Georg's topic raised about language distinction or language survival. That a language is alive as soon as its resources are available in a digital format, and terminology is one of the most important language resource. And my dream would be to establish open framework of e-services for translation. The open, that means that this framework is being operated based on open standards, and it is free for research, for any research, and it is freemium for businesses. So some services can be free and some can be premium. The framework could be built around the reusable set of application program interfaces and graphical user interfaces. It is friendly, and I think it's one of the most important aspects now, that no more business to business or business to customer models, but human to human. Anyway, even if we are developing tools, we are not developing them for machines, we are developing them for ourselves. Then the translation, it is not a separate step, but it is a step, one important step among other steps that are even more complex, that is even more complex chain of steps. And I would call them, if earlier we got used to use the term natural language processing, now we are tending to use content management. And maybe, yes, translation is one of the most important content management steps, as it enables us to communicate with each other. But to make it happen, neither knowledge or language or web, nor language nor web by their own cannot do it, and joint strategies and joint cooperation is needed. And that's the last but not the least aspect, this cross-sectoral aspect. I would like to see more tight cooperation between businesses, academia, and also freelancers, which could be regarded under businesses, but still, I have an impression that they are somewhere aside and are not aware of what is going on. But if you look at the translation business and localization business, then freelancers share a very large part of businesses. And of course, public. Initially, I was not, I didn't include this, but yesterday, especially after the FAO presentation, I thought that, of course, that public resources and public services are very important. And now terminology. And why terminology? Since we use professional language, okay, terminology is very important not only for our professions, but I will not talk about it today. But terminology is very extremely or even critically important for professional communication. And successful communication could be achieved only if we are using consistent terminology. And yesterday, I liked very much Arle's presentation about this quality assurance foundation or background. And I thought that, okay, reference translation should be for machine translation. Of course, we should have something to compare with. But what is reference translation? And I think that in this case, to be consistent, there is only one, if I'm talking now about only terminology, there is only one reference. There cannot be ambiguity in terminology. For this, for example, in one of the most important spheres in our life, in healthcare, doctors are using the Latin language to avoid inconsistency and to avoid ambiguity. Then if we care about terminology, and if we extend the use of terminology tools and the range of terminology tools to terminology services, it will result in availability and discoverability of terminology. And it will result in the increase of awareness of how terminology is important. And of course, it will result in our businesses and in growth of translation and localization businesses that involve human, computer-assisted, and machine translation. 2 years in Dublin, I was happy to present the idea of terminology as a service platform for terminology extraction for 24 European languages. And that is also a good connection to Georg's presentation. And I'm happy to let you know that this month we are finishing the project, I hope successfully. And the project has established terminology as a service platform with the following services. In view of our today's event, I would draw your attention to the extraction service. And maybe I would better show you a little bit of it. So this is the online service that is now available, and it is completely free. Okay, this is the document I have uploaded. First of all, the service accepts 14 formats. And this is the document I have created yesterday and from the multilingual website. This is a web page from the multilingual website. Then I customized my extraction process, and I got the following list of terms. In our latest version, we have implemented the possibility for you to play around with the quality and quantity of terms you get. I mean, with the recall and precision results. So this is the results I got. The main idea is that the content of your document is processed automatically. Term candidates, as I call them, since they are analyzed automatically, 100% automatically. Then the content term candidates are identified in your document. And then translation candidates are looked up in existing external resources, for example, IATA database. Euroterm Bank database and other resources, including TAUS data repository. Also in our internal database that has been built using web resources available on the web. In the first column, you can see extracted term candidates. In the third one, you can see retrieved translation candidates for you. For entry, the following information is available as definition. You can add definition, you can add notes, you can add usage notes, you can add any other information, and the entry is constructed according to the standard TBX, Term-Based Exchange Standard. As soon as you accept the result, for example, this one workshop is the translation candidate was proposed to me from the web resources, that seminars, and it is correct. When with a single click, I approve this. In the same way, you can go through the whole list and approve translation candidates and make your collection clean. Then the next one is export. The next step, export, that you can export the results in the free format, TBX, TSV, and CSV. And in this, I call for your cooperation. We would like to implement the export of terminological resource also in the linked open data format, and also in the linked linguistic license format. Okay, then I think that there is a potential for our joint strategy and joint cooperation. And in this way, not only terminology resources would be more available and more discoverable on the web, but they can be openly published on the web, and even more important, they can be reused by other specialists in the translation industry. Thank you very much.